An injustice anywhere in Ireland is a threat to justice everywhere in Ireland. Now, that's basically from the quote of Martin Luther King about a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Now, there's another quote that I famously always use. It's a Latin proverb: "Fia justia ruit caelum." Let justice be done though the heavens fall. And by God, before I'm finished with this, the heavens are going to fall on Donegal County Council and, in my opinion, corrupt politics in Donegal that has caused us to be facing what we're facing in Donegal, with thousands and thousands of properties, not just homes, properties affected in what's known as the Donegal Mica scandal.
You're very welcome to the state we're in. It's Sunday, the 20th of February. On Thursday afternoon, in a hearing that lasted more than 2.5 hours, Mr. Justice Senan Allen granted an injunction to Donegal County Council preventing Councillor Frank McBrearty from attending council meetings until the 27th of February. And costs were also awarded against Councillor McBrearty. Councillor McBrearty is here with me this morning to discuss this order. You're very welcome to the state we're in, Frank.
Well, thank you, Anna, for inviting me on to the show.
Frank, before we begin, you might give us a background to what led to the proceedings in the High Court, both on Monday and Thursday of this week.
Well, for the past 10 months, I've been raising issues of allegations of systemic corruption and corruption within local government. And I've been met with a wall of silence over the last 10 months. And on the 2nd of June, in the Ennish Times Donegal Live digital platform, the story broke about the council buying 5 infected Mica homes at market value. And out of that, I started asking questions about why would the council buy these 5 infected Mica homes. But anyway, it led to me being expelled from the council invalidly, in my opinion, on the 31st of January. And I was suspended for a full month with a 10% sanction made against me on my remuneration and salary. Now, as a result of that, I turned up at the reconvened adjourned meeting on the 7th of February, and I raised the points of order about my invalid suspension. And it is an invalid suspension, and in due course, it will be proven in the courts that the suspension was politically motivated to silence me. So from that point of view, I was taken to the High Court on Thursday.
Basically then, the background to this issue is that you have been trying to raise during council meetings the issue of the purchase of these 5 houses that are damaged by mica. And indeed, I did an interview with you on that topic before Christmas. So you claim that at council meetings, your attempts to raise this issue were being ruled out of order.
It's quite more complicated than that. Now, on points of order, which I'm entitled to raise as a member, the chairman ruled on those points of order, but then took the opportunity to attack me personally, which he's not entitled to do. He's there to run and manage meetings, and at every opportunity, he's attacked me personally. And I raised points of orders on the issues that he attacked me on, which I was entitled to do. But I've been asking legitimate questions, and I'm entitled to legitimate answers as a public representative, and I'm not getting those legitimate answers. And as you're aware, and you showed it on your show, I've had to apply for now over 60 FOIs to the Department of Housing and to Donegal County Council. Now, I have to say, the difference between the Department of Housing's FOIs and the FOIs that are made up by the council, it's night and day is the difference. Because Donegal County Council have deliberately, in my opinion, give me information, not in chronological order like the department does, and it takes weeks then to go through what they actually send you. And that's a crime in itself, in my opinion.
On the 31st of January last, matters came to a head and there was a vote taken to suspend you from the council. You turned up then at the council meeting the following week on the 7th of February, and then a vote was taken by the councillors to apply to the High Court for an injunction to prevent you from attending further council meetings for the rest of the month.
Well, it's slightly more complicated than that, because I was first expelled from the council meeting on the 6th of October 2021, and 2 hours later I was reinstated, because what the chairperson and the Clr of the day did was invalid. It wasn't done under proper procedures. But I didn't attend that meeting. I told the council to write to my lawyers, which they refused to do. Now, out of what happened then on the 31st of January, I turned up to the meeting on the 7th of February to legitimately ask on the validation of the actual suspension itself, because what the council were giving me was they were only drip feeding me what they had actually done to me. Now, last Tuesday, I was served with a preliminary summons and a motion and an affidavit to be in the High Court on the Thursday at 11 o'clock. Now, the council went into the High Court on the Monday looking for what's called an interlocutory injunction, ex parte. Now, ex parte means that the other side, which is me, is not entitled to be in that proceedings on Monday. But they didn't get their ex parte application. The judge gave them what's called short notice to serve on me, which they did. And it basically gave me 1 day, 1 working day, to put together a legal team, which I couldn't do at the time, and to put together a defendant affidavit to their affidavit. Now, I was going to be expected to put an affidavit, get it signed by a solicitor, get it stamped in the clerk's office in the High Court, and then serve it on the Donegal County Council and to hand it in to the judge. And I made that case to the judge on Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. And the judge adjourned it, as you know, to 12 o'clock, and then subsequently adjourned it then to 2 o'clock, and then the case started at 2:15.
Well, just to reiterate that point, and you made it to the judge and he was very, very sympathetic to your case. You said it was not possible to prepare an affidavit and submit it to the court in that short time frame. Or you had a statement then, which was your attempt or effort as a litigant to counter what Donegal County Council had in their affidavit. Or Mr. Justice Senan Allen didn't allow you to read that statement into the court record.
Well, I don't think it didn't happen like that. It was kind of like happened like that. But the issue here is that I had hundreds of documents that would have been in a proper affidavit if I had the time, and the judge seen those documents. Actually, one of those documents was a 142-page exhibit number 40, which he read into the record, with the criminal complaint and index for that 142 pages that has been given to the Minister for Justice and to the Minister for Housing, and which is now with the Minister for State, who's in charge of local government, which has now been put into what's called protected disclosures, which is a whistleblower's charter. So from that point of view, when I started reading my statement into the record, the judge allowed me to start. But I think when I handed him up the statement, how many serious issues and the defence that I had against the false affidavit and lies that was in the council's affidavit, I think that the judge then realised that this case would take weeks to deal with. And the council, in my opinion, he should have just given them the injunction on the Monday, and it would have cost the taxpayers a lot less money to deal with the issue on Thursday, which the council deliberately did. Because I feel that the judge was indicating he didn't want to deal with a political issue, which is political. This is a political issue, and people are trying to silence me politically.
So he granted the Donegal County Council the order preventing you from attending council meetings until midnight on the 27th of February, and he also awarded costs against you. What's your response to that?
Well, as they say in the legal world, I mean, that there's many bridges that you have to cross, but you only can cross one bridge at a time. And the reality here is I will be appealing that the order and that decision made in that court to a higher forum. And I'll appeal it to the appeal court, but I won't actually go to the appeal court. I'll look to leapfrog it into the Supreme Court, because in my opinion, this order has set a very dangerous precedent in local government and in national government, because what Donegal County Council have done has silenced democracy. And when I say silence democracy, what I mean by that is that if you raise issues that the local government or national government are not comfortable about, and in particular allegations of systemic corruption and allegations of corruption in those local government and national government, they will try and silence you. So the message basically has gone out to people who are considering running in politics. If you're going to represent community groups such as one farm groups, such as environmental groups, such as any other group that's going to look to expose allegations of systemic corruption or corruption, we'll take you to the High Court and we'll silence you like Cllr McBrearty. And the thing about it is, the council won't silence me. They might think that they've won round one, but there's many rounds to go in this fight, in the exposing of systemic corruption and corruption in Donegal. And in my opinion, I will succeed in the long run.
Now, to pick up on a couple of points, Mr. Justice Senan Allen said that following the council vote to suspend you on the 31st of January, it was open to you to challenge that suspension, and you didn't do so. He stated that the council followed due process in suspending you, and they were completely compliant with the Local Government Act.
Well, I don't agree, because the Justice Senan Allen knows that the position that I made clear to him, that I didn't have the time to prepare a defendant affidavit. Now, I wasn't allowed to raise my points of order on the invalid suspension against me in Donegal County Council. It did not afford me to challenge that invalid suspension. And the judge is right. I didn't go to the High Court because I felt that I had a right to be heard in that meeting to make my case about the invalid suspension. And so why should I have to go to the High Court when I'm a democratic elected member of local government? And my duty is to raise those issues in local government of allegations of systemic corruption and corruption. And in my opinion, I have proven that without a reasonable doubt. Because the file that I handed in to the judge, which he read onto the record, Exhibit 40, clearly states allegations of systemic corruption and corruption. And the proof is in that file of what Donegal County Council has done, purchasing 5 defective Mica homes in Donegal with taxpayers' money. And in my opinion, that is fraudulent.
And I know that I spoke to you immediately after the hearing, and you were very, very happy about the fact that Mr. Justice Allen did read the exhibit number 40 into the court record. And that then, I suppose, gives it, what would be the correct legal term for it? It gives it a legal standing once it has been read into the court. Am I correct in saying that? Well,
you're technically correct, but on the other hand, I didn't have a stamped affidavit served on Donegal County Council. So basically, everything that I basically read into the record could possibly be argued that it's null and void, because it wasn't a stamped affidavit. But that's a bridge that I'll cross in the appeal against the judgment and order made against me for costs, because I'm not going to pay no costs to Donegal County Council. I will take that the whole way to the Supreme Court, and if I have necessary to do so, I'll take it to the European Court of Human Rights, because I'm a public representative representing the people in the public interest. And you'll see that most politicians that fight cases in the public interest never have costs awarded against them.
It is interesting that this week in the Dáil, the debate took place on the bill which is going before the Dáil at the moment, relating to whistleblowers, protection of whistleblowers and disclosures. And the Deputy John McGuinness and Deputy Padder Tobin in particular gave a very, very chilling account of what actually happens to whistleblowers in Ireland. They are completely vilified. They can end up losing everything. Deputy McGuinness pointed out what happened in the case of the whistleblower in the Grace case. She ended up losing her job, and the people who were responsible for the terrible abuse of Grace, the DPP recently said that they were not going to be prosecuted. Deputy Tobin then raised a number of issues in relation to TUSLA and the Minister for Children. It's a tough road for whistleblowers in Ireland and for anybody that's trying to expose systemic corruption.
Well, I mean, there's one way to look at this. There's nothing new in what these two TDs raised in Dáil Éireann. Because if you look at the track record of this country, going back to the 1960s, and there's many examples of it. If you look at the Kerry Baby case, you look at the Heavy Gang and the allegations have come out of what they've did to people. You look at the Salons Mail train robbery. You look at the many tribunals of inquiries, such as the Mahon Tribunal, McBrearty Tribunal, the Morris Tribunal, which I was involved in, which should be called the McBrearty Tribunal, and many other cases like the shooting dead of John Carthy, which ended up in the Bar Tribunal, the Smithwick's Tribunal, and many other tribunals, such as the Blood Tribunal, where people were given infected blood, the cervical cancer issues, the mother and baby homes scandal, which, in my opinion, Ireland should have been prosecuted in the Hague for the crimes against humanity, against those babies and mothers. And there's so many issues of injustice. Now, what we actually need in this country is a commission similar to the Patent Commission in Northern Ireland, so that we can bring about proper reform in the Department of Justice, which has not been reformed since the foundation of the state. But also, we need a police service, not a police force. We need a police service similar to what was created in Northern Ireland, and we need that now. The police are there to serve us. They're not there to force us. Now, if you look at all the examples of what has happened in this country to date, then, and you look at what happened to me on Thursday, due process is the word, and natural justice. Now, if you take on the Irish Free State, which was founded on the deaths of our forefathers and their daughters and granddaughters and mothers and fathers back in the 1916 rising when it first started, you'll see that if you challenge the Irish state as an ordinary citizen, they put up a wall against you in order to stop you trying to get justice. Now, that shouldn't be in an Irish Free State, an Irish Democratic Republic. And in my opinion, this is a banana republic, because we can't get justice, ordinary people, because the state uses 2,000 or 3,000 lawyers to block you from getting justice. And sometimes you never get justice. Sometimes you only get financial justice, like my family got. We got financial justice, but we didn't get justice. And the many cases that I named there, none of these people have actually had any justice, not even financial justice. So the reality here is, what has happened to me on Thursday has stemmed out of another injustice committed against the people of Donegal and Mayo, and now other counties across the country. And that is the mica, pyrite, pyrrhotite, deleterious materials and sulfite mineral scandal that's more than likely going to affect the whole country because of the failure of government to protect their own citizens.
On that note, we will finish, Frank. And what I'm hearing there is that there are several cases that are going to run ahead in the future, parallel cases. You're going to perhaps end up going to the Supreme Court to get a ruling on Mr. Justice Senan Allen's order on Thursday. There is the whole issue of what you call systemic corruption in Donegal County Council in relation to the mica damaged houses. And indeed, there is the case that you're taking yourself in a personal capacity against your own house that has been damaged by mica. Councillor McBrearty, I want to thank you.
One point, and I need to make one point, and it's a very important point. And this point is, These proceedings taken against me in the High Court are not over. They're still live. The injunction part of it is now null and void as long as I don't break the injunction, which I won't do. I won't break the injunction because I'm not ready to eat porridge in Mountjoy yet. But what I'll say to you is that the proceedings that the council have taken to me, there's a two-pronged attack that they have done on me. They must now serve what's called a statement of claim on me in those proceedings, which they haven't done to date. Now, if they don't serve those statement of claims on me, then they must withdraw those proceedings. Now, I'll be writing to Donegal County Council this week, asking them to serve that statement of claim on me, which I'm entitled to put a full defence in and on all the allegations contained in their affidavit and the injunction proceedings, and all the allegations that they make against me in the statement of claim. Now, if they don't do that, I can make an official legal complaint to the Law Society against that firm of solicitors, VP McMullins, who represent the council, because I'm entitled to what's called due process. But I'm also entitled to counter-sue Donegal County Council on their false allegations, which I will be doing in due course. And the reality here is, Donegal County Council are well aware that I have legal representation at the highest level in the country, which I named some of those legal representatives that represent me in the High Court on Thursday. And they will be facing the rigours of my legal team in due course down the road over the next 18 months, because the road to justice is a very slow road to justice, and I have travelled that road to justice. Many times I've travelled that road to justice.
Indeed you have, Frank. And on that note, we shall end. Thank you so much, Councillor Frank McBrearty, for taking time out this Sunday morning to join us on the state we're in. And also, many thanks to you for watching. Compass Media is a new news platform. We will never ask you for monetary donations, but we do ask you to please share this video to get it out to a much wider audience. Until we meet again on the state we're in, Bannock Day, Arif Cllr.